repairs. Plus, Hurricane Ian may have an impact on local insurance premiums. We'll tell you why. And is there a need for an extension on the Sears order for the islands of Grand Bahama and Abaco? We have a response tonight. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Good evening and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. I'm Ramiko Knowles. Thank you so much for tuning in. Topping the news, a major announcement in the House of Assembly today, reaffirming the government's commitment to Bahamian home ownership. The news coming out of Parliament by the Minister of Transport and Housing about the new rent-to-own program under the theme, A Place Called Home. Our Aja Kwan joins us live in studio to tell us all about the first island that stands to benefit. Aja?
Ramiko, Abaco residents have some good news coming their way. According to the minister responsible for transport and housing, the Honorable JoBeth Colby-Davis, in keeping with the government's blueprint for change, the commitment stands when it comes to the implementation of a rent-to-own initiative. The path to home ownership for Bahamians is underway as this vision is now coming to fruition. Colby-Davis says the start of this initiative begins with Abaconians now having a place to call home.
We will not abandon Abaconians. My ministry will deliver on that promise.
According to Minister Colby-Davis, the Department of Housing is currently reviewing over 1,200 applications for housing. She also adds that each representative at the Ministry of Housing is reviewing over 300 applications coming from throughout the Bahamas, but Spring City Abaco has been announced as the first phase of A Place to Call Home.
We are starting A Place to Call Home in Abaco because this administration understands the need for housing on the island is great. We also understand that the cost of rent on the island is significant. So this rent-to-own initiative will assist in lowering the cost of housing.
The minister also expressing that the Davis administration believes wholeheartedly in empowering hard-working Bahamians through home ownership. But she is also giving this charge to contractors.
An important component of A Place to Call Home will be to expand economic opportunities to license small contractors on our island with a proven and verified track record of quality performance and excellence. We understand that economic benefits must trickle down.
Minister Colby-Davis adding that technology and proven best practices from rent-to-own initiatives in New Zealand, Singapore, and the United Kingdom will be adopted. In addition, she says part of the process of becoming a successful applicant will require attending a home ownership education course and agree to financial coaching.
Over an agreed fixed period, rent will be paid to the Department of Housing. A portion of the rent will go towards a down payment for the mortgage, property maintenance, and insurance costs. Deputy Speaker, a reservation deposit is required to enroll in A Place to Call Home.
Meanwhile, 5 housing units are ready in Spring City, and a number of housing models will be used, ranging from a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom, and 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom. This initiative is said to give all Bahamians an opportunity to save for their dream home while living in it, all at the same time. Live in studio for the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Aja Quant. Back to you, Ramiko.
Oh, just like Dorian devastated the islands of Abaco and Grand Bahama, our neighbors to the north also experiencing a major hurricane recently. Category 4 storm Hurricane Ian barreling through Florida, leaving widespread damage to the tune of tens of billions of dollars, with the local insurance companies reliant on the global reinsurance market. Bahamian property owners could expect a hike in insurance premiums soon. Our Raven Davis shares the details in this report.
Hurricane Ian, likely to go down as one of the most devastating storms in U.S. history, costing billions in damages. The storm threatening the property insurance market, and locally, property owners are advised to brace themselves for the ripple effect. Vice President and Director of Freeport Insurance Agents and Brokers, Donald Ward, says insurance rate hikes are inevitable for a number of reasons.
We as brokers, we sell a product for the insurer, who then reinsure with the reinsurers, which are all abroad in this case. Everybody needs to make money. beginning with the reinsurers, when they you might say, buy or underwrite our product, or they support our product by letting us buy support from them, they need to make money. So when there is more being paid out than is being taken in, the chances are there will be an increase in the rates to the normal consumer.
Now, the situation may be viewed a double whammy as insurance premiums increased following Hurricane Dorian. Ward, however, asserting that that increase was not high.
The reason for that was that insurers throughout the Bahamas, especially Bahamas First, prepared prior to Dorian for that eventuality. Now, they are subject to someone else.
Now, at this juncture, it's difficult to tell just when these increases can be expected or how significant they will be, but residents are advised of the importance of homeowner insurance.
It all is predicated on the ability of the insurance companies to negotiate and the price that they get from their reinsurers. The homeowners insurance presently is not inexpensive by any means. But it's like with everything else, it's financial planning.
Clients must look at protecting themselves to the point where they can restore their property if something happens, especially something as devastating as Dorian and Ian.
Attempting to assuage already brewing concerns, the Chamber of Commerce president says residents need not be alarmed, adding that the stabilizing effect is that the local insurance market is competitive.
I can't imagine changes being such that they will shock the system completely. Anybody who charges excessively will be left out, so they will compete, and competition tends to keep prices reasonable.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Raven Davis.
Meantime, Abaco's Chamber of Commerce president is calling on the government to extend the special economic recovery zone orders for the islands of Grand Bahama and Abaco. The chamber president says given the state of affairs in the country, financial crisis, and unforeseen challenges posed by the global pandemic, many were not able to benefit from the imposed tax breaks following Hurricane Dorian. The member of parliament for North Abaco is also in agreement. It has been quite difficult for the islands of Abaco and Grand Bahama following the twin disasters of Hurricane Dorian and the pandemic. The serious orders were given and extended to provide some economic relief for both islands. But the Chamber of Commerce president for Abaco, Daphne Miolis, says the COVID crisis halted much of the intended relief, and therefore the government should consider extending the orders beyond December 1st, 2022.
For at least a year, we were basically restricted through lockdowns and limited access to contractors, supplies, etc.
The Abaco Chamber of Commerce president says Hurricane Ian's devastating impact on Florida makes it even more urgent that the government renews her island's post-Dorian tax breaks in full.
We're dependent on imports coming in from Florida or through Florida. But right now they are, overwhelmed with their own rebuild requirements, and materials are even going to become more difficult to access.
Most residents and businesses have suffered major fallouts as a result of the economic crisis brought on by the pandemic, and many were not able to take advantage of the duty-free concessions. Member of Parliament for North Abaco, Kirk Cornish, is in support of the extension for Abaco.
There are many persons that wasn't in a position to purchase the necessary building materials to reconstruct their homes that are now coming into those funds that they can do so. There are many persons who would have been restoring their homes and were unable to obtain a vehicle, who are now completed their home and now able to get a vehicle. And these persons would have been in possession of these vehicles and homes pre-Dorian. So I believe it is extremely fitting to accommodate them, to restore and rebuild their lives.
And with a small percentage of businesses fully functional on the island and many residents still in a state of repair, the Chamber of Commerce president questions how the economy of Abaco would fare if the Sears order is not extended. Meanwhile, the Member of Parliament for North Abaco, Cornish, believes the extension would benefit Abaco greatly.
We really need another 3 years. I mean, 3 to 5 years, but I mean, really, they need to extend it for another 3 years.
Every home represents utility bills, water bills, light bill. It's revenue for the government. Every car represents revenue. You have to license and insure the car. You have to put fuel in the car. So it represents commerce for Abaco. So extension of the sales is a plus for both the government and for the residents.
Now, following a release on social media claiming that the Freeport Airport Development Company awarded a contract to a Nassau-based company over a qualified Grand Bahama company to repair the domestic terminal at the Grand Bahama International Airport, ignited claims that the bidding process was not fair. The Freeport Airport Development Company responding to those claims in a statement today, advising the public that the board has reached a bid for repairs of the domestic terminal at the Freeport Airport. The statement reads that the winner was a firm of Bahamian contractors that previously did work for the Freeport Airport Development Company on time and within budget. The decision to grant the contract to the lowest bidder was straightforward and required no influence from anyone external to the board, and any suggestion to the contrary on social media or anywhere else is false. The Freeport Airport Development Company is focused on bringing immediate relief to the traveling public and the island's visitors in the short term, and to ultimately build a world-class airport. Well, with the recent extension of the Ministry of Grand Bahama's Beautiful Grand Bahama program, residents in East Grand Bahama are expressing their heartfelt gratitude. They say the extension is a timely venture that not only will assist them toward the repairs to their homes, but gives them a little extra going into the holiday season.
See, a lot of work has been going on as they extend the program. Everybody's excited about it, and things are going on because the beautiful Grand Bahama project has been a great blessing. After Dorian, what people got to still realize is the bid goes on, work still goes on. So even this beautiful Grand Bahama project is still putting some money in our folks' pocket.
We was happy because I was like, if you had stopped like, let's say to September, that'd be almost like I need a ride from Freeport and you bring me as far as High Rock. And I need to get all the way to McLeanstown. That's how I describe it. So having done from April to September, it was much appreciative.
We say thank you, Ms. Moxie. But we are appreciative of what you're doing on behalf of all those that work along with you. May God continue to bless you and keep you. We truly appreciate it.
In other news, in keeping with the celebration of the Youth Month, the Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, the Honorable Mario Bolag, announcing today in the House that 3 Grand Bahamians are the recipients of the 2022 Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture National Lifetime Achievement Awards. Reverend Leslie McDonald and his wife, Yvonne, have spent decades giving tirelessly to the youth through their respective organizations.
Leslie and Commandant Yvonne McDonald have each given over 4 decades of committed and dedicated service to our nation's young people. McDonald, through youth band development, is the founder of the Legends Marching Band. And at age 10 years old, he became fascinated with music and created his own marching band, which later went on to perform in Georgia, Bimini, West Virginia, and at Howard University. Deputy Speaker, Mrs. Yvonne McDonald can be described as a brave, talented, powerful, and intelligent. A testament of her dedication can be seen through her service to the Grand Bahama Girls Brigade since 1982.
In that same light, Bolag announcing that former educator and a sports legend, the late Anita Doherty, is being recognized and received the posthumous National Lifetime Achievement Award.
Community builder, educator, coach, leader, mentor, and sports legend. Mr. Deputy Speaker, in 1998, she was honored as a living legend by the Zonta Club of Nassau. This pioneer serve as Chief Consular for the city of Freeport in Grand Bahama for 3 years during the period of 2005 to 2008. The stories of her impact and legacy are still being told.
Well, the world's leading profession is being celebrated today, and the students at Sister Mary Patricia High School have done a stellar job by showing how much they appreciate their educators.
Through the demonstration of kind acts, solo performances, and rake and scrape dancing, the teachers at Sister Mary Patricia Junior High School surely had a grand time on campus. Under the motto molding character through instructional excellence, Principal M. Janice Pinder says that everything begins with the teachers.
Students are here in the class. Whatever they learn, it begins with the teachers. So we are so proud of our teachers. The teachers here at Sister Mary Patricia Russell are A, Panther, A, positive. They are great. They're excellent teachers.
The 50 educators are said to be providing excellent results, and a few of those students are sharing just what those results are.
Without teachers, there would be no jobs because teachers have to teach those, and so they could learn their professions and what they have to do.
Teachers nurture doctors, lawyers, all of the main jobs. And without teachers, we wouldn't have so many things that we need. For example, medicine.
Set the way for like what we want to be when we grow up.
Responsible for our future generation and generations after.
And a few of the teachers are expressing their gratitude for a great day.
Today is significant, and it helps to assist in highlighting the major role that teachers play in our society.
Honestly, I feel very appreciated because I feel as though teachers are sometimes very undervalued and unseen. Even though we do not do the work for public recognition, sometimes you feel more appreciated when you can hear and see the work that you would have attributed to.
In addition to celebrating the teachers on the island, schools across the island will be closed on half day at 12 o'clock p.m. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Jolanda Thompson.
We certainly do appreciate our teachers. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Stay with us. There's more news when we come back.
Come on down. Now. Come on down. Now.
Don't miss the amazing 25% off National Heroes Day sale at Park and Shop downtown this October 6th, 7th, and 8th, excluding underwear and red tag items.
With over 30 years of service with integrity, services in Abaco, New Providence, and Grand Bahama, providing modern and state-of-the-art equipment, specializing in the maintenance and operation of waste treatment plants, waste oil movement, sludge extraction, tank cleaning, elite portable toilets, and hand wash stations. We are efficient, reliable, and cutting edge. We are B&B Galaxy.
Calling all youth from east to west, the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture presents Gospel Youth Jam 2022, featuring Invaders for Christ Praise Team, the Urbanettes, Solid Rock Church of the Nazarene Mime Team, and a word from the Lord from Minister Cami Hanna from Central Zion Baptist Church. It's going down at Calvary Temple on Clive Avenue, Freeport, Grand Bahama on October 7th, 7:30 p.m. Do not miss this move of God.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. The month of October is recognized as Older Persons Month, and the Ministry of Social Services and Urban Development, Department of Senior Citizens Division in Grand Bahama is celebrating the month under the theme, The Resilience and Contributions of Older Women. Special Projects Officer Brene Bannister says several events are slated to take place during the month, and officials invite the public to be a part.
We commence the month of activities with a church service which will be held this upcoming Thursday, the 6th of October 2022, where we will join in worship with the Pro-Cathedral of Christ the King at 12 noon. On the 13th of October 2022, we will have a talk show where we'll discuss matters pertaining to aging in today's society. We invite you to tune in. That will be via Zoom, and the link will hopefully be posted at the end of this briefing. Then finally, we conclude the month of activities on the 29th of October 2022, where we'll have an honorary concert held at Jubilee Cathedral at 5:30 p.m., where we will honor and celebrate the contributions of 10 women throughout Grand Bahama.
The public is asked to nominate eligible females 60 years or older who continue to make positive contributions to the island of Grand Bahama.
Nomination forms can be collected and, upon your completion, returned to the Department of Social Services. That's both of our offices here, the main one in Freeport, the Sun Plaza building, as well as in Pinedale, 8 Mile Rock. You also have the urban renewal centers that are positioned in the communities throughout the island. And then for those in the east, you have the community clinic in High Rock. Persons seeking to nominate their loved ones, we just ask that you please adhere to the deadline, which will be the 14th of October, 2022 at 4 p.m.
While the Home for the Aged celebrating in a major way, Raven Davis reports.
The United Nations proclaiming October 1 as International Day of Older Persons, and by extension the month of October observed as Older Persons Month. This year's theme, the resilience and contributions of older women. Founder and administrator at the Grand Bahama Home for the Aged, Agatha Thompson, pointing to the gallant efforts of prominent Bahamian women and notes the significance of the theme. She also encourages the wider community to extend their affection to a senior in the community.
We have in our community of the Bahamas, we have Dame Marguerite Pinlin, who is a prime example, Dame Ivy Dumont, and Dame Janet Boswick, and Mother Pratt, Center Mother Pratt. Those are examples that the women of the Bahamas can follow. But I would like to ask all of Grand Bahama to recognize all of the elderly. So in your church, in the school, somewhere in the community, you can find an older person that would appreciate a visit or some sort of love. Just a hug. You'll be surprised what a hug on a visit, or just saying, I just came to see you. That makes them feel special.
The observance also coming on the heels of the 32nd anniversary of the home. Thompson essentially sharing an ambitious goal of having the facility, which remains under repair, fully completed by October's end. But she says this is not possible without public support.
There's painting, the tiles, and the kitchen cabinets that still need to be done in order for us to get back in here. So we thank the Grand Bahama community, and we're looking forward for assistance in getting the building completed.
The need to be relocated becoming more urgent as the elderly presently occupy the preschool building, also dashing our hopes of having the school and intergenerational center reopened last September.
It's really uncomfortable in that the school was designed for infants and toddlers. So the bathrooms are juvenile bathrooms, and it's just for boys and girls. And we've been making it do, but it's really time to come back home, for it to come back up front in the comfort of the home. And the children interact with the elderly. So not having them, the elderly always ask, so what happened to the children? Where's the babies? They don't hear that crying, that laughter, of them being on the premises. Because, intergenerational centers are popular nowadays. And they're finding that the interaction with the elderly, it slows down anxiety and the progression of Alzheimer's. So that's the therapeutic portion of it is what we miss more than the financial.
Remaining optimistic, Thompson says plans to once again accommodate students for community service are in the works. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Raven Davis.
Your check on sports is up next with Jay Philippe.
Jay Philippe, and welcome to sports. It is the off-season for track and field, with some of our junior athletes are still hard at work. But let's begin with high school volleyball over at St. George's Gym. High school volleyball regular season action continued at St. George's Gym. This game between LIS and Sister Mary Patricia Russell Jr. was a close one in the first set, but LIS pulled away 21-16 in set 1. LIS would go ahead and take set 2, 21-7, to win the match.
I think the best thing about today was their serving. I mean, we've been focusing on trying to get the ball over the net on their serves and making that consistent, and they did a really good job of that tonight. And once we focused on that, all we had to do then was keep the bumping going, put it back over the net, and the points came our way.
For Coach Stephanie Woodside, it's back to the drawing board.
I think they performed good. Seeing that was our first game. However, it's like they fell asleep the second set. I told them they expected an invisible man to hit the ball. For some reason, they've been allowing the ball to just land right in front of them. I think they're too afraid to make a mistake, so they just wasn't hitting the ball at all.
Other junior girls scores. Tabernacle won against 8 Mile Rock in 3 sets. In senior girls play, Jackie with Wildcats got the win against Dominion. BMES Warriors defeated Mary Star in 2 straight sets. Tabernacle got the W against 8 Mile Rock, and LIS got the win versus St. George's. Switching gears now in track and field, it's the off-season for athletes Robert Stewart and Tejon Spence.
My off-season right now is pretty strong. I've been in the gym more than often and getting my ankles and my legs stronger for next season.
I'm working on my ankle right now because I did get a little injury through the off-season. Getting that better and trying to stay focused, trying to get through it. It hurt me, but I'm trying to get through it.
And that's a quick check on sports, ladies and gents. I'm Jay Philippe. Be blessed.
Thanks, Jay. And here's a look at this sponsored message from Doctors Hospital.
Doctor Hospital have a great commitment with Freeport, with Grand Bahamas. Doctor Hospital made a great investment in the building. We are a great team. We can check everything in cardiovascular problems, working with ECG, of course, with Holter monitor 24 hours, echocardiogram, stress test, and echo stress. We have more than 100 patients in the last 3 years with very, very good results. 80% of population have hypertension. 60% of patients have diabetes, and around 40% of patients have more risk factors. And these patients need support, need technology, need a team, no a cardiologist, no a technician or a machine. Need a team because the risk of complication in this patient is very high.
For all your upholstery needs on furniture, boats, and cars, call Upholstery Plus. Quality and efficient service done right. Phone 688-6209 or 375-6209.
We just got the new fiber internet speed bump. Now my internet so fast I can watch 2 4K movies, play video games, and browse on my computer at the same time.
Yeah, my internet so fast I can download a whole season of shows before my noodles run cooking.
Mine so fast when I go to church online, service actually over early.
Mine so fast when I'm working from home, 5 o'clock, come before 3.
Sound like you got this BTC fiber internet speed bump like me.
When it's so fast, I had to have it.
Current fiber internet bundle customers now have as much as 3 times the speed. Totally free. Link up with BTC.
Have the following supplies on hand at the start of the hurricane season. A minimum 3-day supply of water, which provides 1 gallon of water per person per day. Minimum 3-day supply of non-perishable food items. Flashlights and extra batteries. A battery-powered radio to receive broadcasts that will keep you informed of the storm. A first aid kit. a 7-day supply of any prescribed medication. Don't be caught off guard this hurricane season. Be prepared. Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Batavia Pipe from You Are Our Facebook Friend of the Day. We thank you so much for your support, and we want to wish you a very special happy birthday from the entire news team here in the North. We also want to say happy birthday going out to Mr. Rufus Allen. I hope you enjoyed your day. And that concludes the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm Ramiko Knowles. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to stay tuned as the Bahamas Tonight continues.
Coming up in the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, BPL's cash crisis disclosed. Legislative changes to public procurement. The rent-to-own initiative launched. An in-the-field reveal for the 2023 Hero World Tour. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, starts now.
ZNS News is linked up by BTC. Whether it's chatting, gaming, content creating, or working smart to get things done, link up to stay connected with BTC.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Akush Lopinder, and this is the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Thanks for tuning in. Eroding factors of BPL's hedge strategy leading to the power giant standing on the precipice of a financial fallout. The harsh reality of it all, as told by the Public Works Minister in the House of Assembly this morning, one day after the unpopular decision to hike electricity prices.
BPL finds itself at a crossroads.
In these times, an increase of any sort on the backs of consumers is a hard pill to swallow. But Public Works Minister, the Honorable Alfred Sayers, sought to make as strong a case as any in the House of Assembly to support the argument that Bahamas Power and Light's spiraling cash crisis left it with no other choice but to increase electricity prices as early as next month. And for the majority of BPL consumers, that's an additional $20 tacked on power bills.
Notwithstanding the global trends, BPL has maintained a fuel charge of 10.5 cents per kilowatt hour. However, as the hedge volumes were declining under the current hedge strategy, and the absence of any sign of immediate relief in the market, Mr. Deputy, BPL is no longer able to realize any of the benefits from its current hedging that had existed at the outset in July of 2020.
Further compounding the problem, the ongoing Russian and Ukraine war and exiting the COVID-19 pandemic, which, according to Sayers, led to fuel prices skyrocketing with no significant decline in the foreseeable future. The two have led to a 100% increase in the price of diesel.
Continuing in this manner has become untenable to our power provider, and the company must now move to adjust the monthly fuel charge to carry out necessary system transformation and ensure the sustainability of its operations.
While BPL's pending rate increase has left many on the edge, the government argues that deferring or delaying or refusing to follow through with such a decision will only lead to greater hardships down the road. Worst case scenario, the catastrophic failure of BPL.
Well, weighing in on the expected increase in electricity rates is the official opposition, the Free National Movement leader Michael Pintard, who claims the government made a huge mistake in not following the plan left in place by the former F&M administration.
as a result of them delaying to proceed with the recommended policies, we are now left with a situation where the Bahamian people are having a fuel charge on their bill that has increased by 163%. The overall electricity bill for working class Bahamians will be somewhere around 36% in terms of increase, and for middle class Bahamians as well as businesses, somewhere around close to 100% increase in prices.
Bahamas Power and Light issuing a statement saying it has been made aware of inaccurate statements made in today's local media regarding its hedging strategy, and it's advising that the company's hedging program remains in place. According to the statement, several members of the media based their analysis and commentary on an erroneous assertion that the hedging program had been stopped. BPL officials stressing that it was not stopped, and it continues to this day. They're asking that members of the media correct any inaccurate reporting and base future analysis on facts. While mincing no words, the Prime Minister in the House of Assembly this morning fired back at the opposition's concerns, meantime, over the pending BPL fuel surcharge hike.
For at least 7 months, Bahamians had relief. They had relief. They did not have to pay. They did not have to pay a higher light bill, right, for the 7 months. The delay was exactly because of that. Because I said I did not want, because of the state of the economy.
Still on BPL rate hike, we also have reaction tonight from the Bahamas Hotel and Tourism Association. President Robert Sandy Sands indicating in a release that tourism stakeholders are experiencing what he called significant apprehension to outright anxiety on the increase as they've finally begun to see the light of day after recovering from unprecedented financial losses. The organization seeking government's urgent assistance in softening the impact to businesses nationwide, especially the tourism sector. One recommendation: consider offering VAT relief applied to the fuel surcharge. The BHTA is also encouraging accelerating efforts to ensure industry stakeholders are able to access alternate sources of energy in order to diminish the country's reliance on unfriendly fossil fuels that contribute to climate change. Well, as promised, legislation introduced in the House of Assembly this morning to repeal and replace the 2021 Public Procurement Act, opening the door to countless opportunities. Leading off the debate, the Prime Minister pitched a message of fairness and transparency in the procurement process, as we hear in this report from Altavis Munnings.
Simply put, when a government agency buys goods or services through a tendering or bidding process, that's public procurement. The 2021 Corruptions Perceptions Index of Transparency International ranked the Bahamas 30th out of 183 countries with a score of 64 out of 100. Numbers Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis vows to change.
We believe that public procurement, when used correctly, is a tool to correct some of the historical inequalities in our system.
And that's where the Public Procurement Act 2022 comes in. It's proposed legislation with a revised application process, new framework agreements, a new 7-member procurement board, and reorganized bidding methods. As the Prime Minister explains, the revised legislation also speaks to discouraging and detecting procurement abuse while encouraging the development of micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises, female, youth, and family island-owned businesses, as well as elevating financial thresholds for review.
Contracts that are more than $25,000 but less than $400,000, evaluate and recommend the award of the contract to the minister. The committee will evaluate, the tenders committee within the entity will evaluate and make a recommendation of the award of the contract to the minister responsible to or responsible for the procuring entity. This number was formerly $50,000 to $250,000. Contracts that are more than $400,000 for less than $2.5 million are forwarded to the Tenders Board, along with the tender committee's recommendation for the board's approval. Contracts for over $2.5 million are forwarded again by the Tenders Committee with their recommendation to the board for their recommendation, and after that, the board shall forward its recommendation to Cabinet for approval.
The new bill also seeks to increase transparency by expanding procurement contracts and in awarding those contracts to allow flexibility depending on the contract, and the requirements specified for evaluating bidding documents as well as disqualification.
Given the significant changes, the reorganization and revision of material provisions relating to bidding methods, and the introduction of several new clauses and definitions, it was determined that repealing the Act would be a better approach than amending the Act.
The government's open to comments on the proposed legislation from civil society. Multilateral financial institutions have already submitted their thoughts that were largely incorporated in this new bill. Reporting for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Altafiz Munnings.
Well, another monumental step for the government's housing program announced in the House of Assembly today. A place to call home, the Davis administration's new rent-to-own initiative to further expand home ownership for Bahamians across the country. In the face of over 1,200 housing applications at the Department of Housing, Housing Minister, the Honorable JoBeth Colby Davis, boasted that Phase 1 will initially comprise 5 homes in Spring City, Abaco.
We are starting a place to call home in Abaco because this administration understands the need for housing on the island is great. We also understand that the cost of rent on the island is significant. So this rent-to-own initiative will assist in lowering the cost of housing. Deputy Speaker, I said in my address to the Abaco Business Outlook that we will not abandon Abaconians. My ministry will deliver on that promise.
Well, with registration soon available on www.moth, as in the Ministry of Transport and Housing, that's mothbahamas.com, the new rent-to-own housing models offer 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom, and 3-bedroom and 2 baths. Over an agreed fixed period, rent will be paid to the Department of Housing and a portion earmarked towards mortgage down payment, property maintenance, and insurance cost. Potential applicants must pay a reservation deposit and, once successful, attend the Housing Department's home ownership education course.
We understand that not every applicant will be successful. There will be some applicants who will be constrained by a high level of unsecured debt. In those instances, our customer service team will offer advice such as making principal payments to the existing unsecured debt and offer financial coaching and tips in preparation for home ownership.
This is Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean with a tropical weather update brought to you by BTC and CBS Bahamas. In the far eastern Atlantic, we continue to monitor tropical depression number 12. At 5 o'clock this afternoon, it was some 550 miles west of the Cabo Verde Islands, moving towards the west-northwest at some 10 miles per hour with maximum sustained winds at 35 miles per hour. Now, we expect some weakening of the system, and by tomorrow, it could become just a remnant low pressure as it continues trekking towards the west-northwest. And then secondly, we're watching this area of low pressure near the southern Windward Islands. A reconnaissance aircraft flew in that earlier today and discovered that we don't yet have a closed circulation, but that broad area is interacting with land, particularly over the northern coast of South America and Trinidad and Tobago. As a result of this, we don't anticipate any development in the short term, but in the next 2 days or so, once it moves into the Caribbean Sea, we expect it to develop into a tropical depression, and this system has an 80% chance of that happening. This has been a tropical weather update brought to you by BTC and CBS Bahamas.
We go now to our weekly poll question. Here's how it works. Listen in for the question and then log on to our website. That's www.znsbahamas.com, as well as any of our social media platforms to answer. That's all it takes. This week's question: do you think stricter laws and penalties would help curb crime in the Bahamas? Yes or no. The poll's final results will be aired on Friday, and as always, thanks for participating. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, returns after this break.
This portion of the news was brought to you by Sun Oil Limited Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
You have enough things to worry about. Living in a world that can seem opposite of the things you are trying to accomplish.
I can need a little help with this.
We're here to let you know that you don't have to go at it alone. Choose peace of mind. Choose comfort. Choose CB. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
We just got the new fiber internet speed bump. Now my internet so fast I can watch 2 4K movies, play video games, and browse on my computer at the same time.
Yeah, my internet so fast I could download a whole season of shows before my noodles run cooking.
Mine so fast when I go to church online, service actually over early.
Mine so fast when I'm working from home, 5 o'clock, come before 3.
Sound like you got this BTC fiber internet speed bump like me.
But it's so fast, I had to have it.
Current fiber internet bundle customers now have as much as 3 times the speed, totally free. Link up with BTC.
What makes us experts? Every bite. And while it's impossible to know how many there have been in KFC's history, each one of them is crucial. Because our secret travels from mouth to mouth. And we know that the first bite will never be the last. Kentucky Deluxe Chicken Sandwich, a triple breaded chicken breast, premium mayo, pickles, lettuce, tomato, and cheese on a buttery brioche bun. All our chicken expertise in a sandwich. Kentucky Deluxe Chicken Sandwich, only at KFC Nassau.
I used to think of the bank as my personal ATM machine. If I wanted a new car, new furniture, a weekend trip to Miami, no problem. Just max out the credit card or top up my loan. I was a big baller until I realized that 75% of my salary was going to pay back all those loans. Fidelity's personal financial coaching was the best solution. Fidelity gave me a plan with a debt consolidation loan that has a built-in savings that pays 5% interest. I now only have one low monthly payment plus money in my pocket. Give Fidelity Bank a call at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit any of Fidelity's locations or visit a website at fidelitygroup.com.
The U.S. reaped the monetary benefits of managing the country's sovereign airspace for decades. But following the signing of a 10-year agreement last year, the country is finally receiving some of the rewards. Cleopatra Murphy has the details on just how profitable the arrangement has been.
The Bahamas is collecting approximately $2 to $3 million monthly in overflight fees for airlines that fly within its sovereign airspace. This is after the Minister administration in May 2021 signed an air navigation services agreement with the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration, allowing the Bahamas for the first time to receive payment for airlines using its airspace. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, the Honorable Chester Cooper, says this is the first step to gaining full management control.
We're Bahamians. We have the capability and the capacity to do it. This will mean more jobs and more opportunities for the future for young Bahamians. We have a strategy to grow the aviation industry, and therefore we will continue to work with our training academy to build the capacity so that in future we no longer need to outsource this to the FAA, but we will be managing this ourselves.
The road to the country monetizing its airspace has been a long one, starting with the Christie administration, with then Minister of Transport and Aviation, the Honorable Glenys Hannah Martin, at the helm. The new fee structure now sees airlines navigating the country's airways paying $1 per person arriving and departing, with a flat fee of $10 to $61 for each flight. The Minister of Tourism recently held discussions with JetBlue Airways on the possibility of expanding routes into the country, with one official expressing concern with overflight fees, but Cooper says he is not too worried.
The reality is that we are a sovereign country. We've taken the decision to charge for airlines entering our airspace. This is not a novel idea. All of our Caribbean counterparts do it. Most countries around the world do it. And I think when there's something new, there's always a little bit of consternation.
Cooper says the country will continue its partnership and dialogue with the airline community and is looking to gain even greater control of its airspace.
We have continued the dialogue with the southern areas of the Bahamas. That's not being managed by the FAA. At the moment, that's being managed by the Cuban authorities. So we continue the dialogue, and we will ensure over the course of the next year that we fine-tune all of these agreements. But the system is in place, it's working, we're collecting money, and as a result of the fees that we collect, we are building capacity to keep the traveling public safe.
For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Cleopatra Murphy.
On the labor front, talks ongoing between the Department of Labor and the union representing Bahamas Air. Minister of Labor, the Honorable Keith Bell's comments follow the industrial action taken by members of the Airport, Airline and Allied Workers Union on Sunday that left hundreds of passengers stranded. A reported 80% of flight attendants called in sick. At the crux of it, union executives are reportedly seeking to have their outstanding industrial contract concluded. Now, as to whether those who participated in the sick-out would face consequences, Bell said this much.
Again, we're in discussions with them. I don't want to say that there'll be consequences. The reality is that the main thing is they are back to work. Bahamans can travel freely, and they don't have to be concerned about more disruptions.
Meantime, as fast as they enter the Bahamas, the government processes illegal immigrants, repatriating them at the earliest opportunity. The financial burden of it all, millions of dollars annually. Speaking to the media ahead of Tuesday's cabinet meeting, Immigration Minister, the Honorable Keith Bell, maintains the government is doing its due diligence.
The fact of the matter is that over the last 2 or 3 months, the Royal Bahamas Defense Force, along with our U.S. counterparts, has been intercepting every irregular migrant vessel that is coming into our borders, which is very significant. And so I would tell the Bahamian public the proof is not in the words, but rather in the pudding. And let me indicate, too, that we're not only dealing with the immigrants who are irregular migrants who are coming here by boat, we're also dealing with those who are actually here in our country. And our repatriation numbers speak to this.
Now, so far this year, some 1,800 illegal Haitian nationals have been repatriated.
We've repatriated a total of 2,443 irregular migrants to Haiti, Jamaica, Venezuela, Dominican Republic, and of course to Cuba and other countries. And so it isn't that we are not continuing to do taking a very aggressive approach when it comes to immigration. First of all, we're being humane, we're ensuring due process, and we're ensuring that those who are coming to our country through illegal means, that they are arrested, they receive due process, they are treated with the highest degree of humanity, and that they are repatriated immediately. And we ask the Bahamian public to support us on this, and that if you have any information that where there are irregular migrants or illegal migrants in the country, by all means, give us a call and we'll ensure that we take action.
Tuesday's mid-morning killing of a bus driver sparking concerns over passenger safety. Our Charles Fisher takes it from here.
Press Liaison Officer Chief Superintendent Kristen Skippins confirming that there were other passengers on the 15A route bus. This raises the question, should officers now be positioned on the public transportation system?
We are concerned about it. We do have saturated patrols, and I'm certain that will be taken up at a higher level yet to determine whether or not it will call for police officers to now also be on public service transportation.
This is something Harrison Moxey, president of the United Public Transportation Company, endorses.
Yesterday was a very unfortunate incident. We don't know all the circumstances surrounding it, but it could have very well been passengers and innocent children. So we thank God it didn't expand, that far, but it only shows you how far things can mushroom. So we welcome the thought. We've had a conversation about this before, of policing actually in the buses, and that would enhance passenger safety and thus increase even ridership. While we we understand that public transportation is an essential service. They don't give up on the business. You can still trust in it. So this is an isolated incident, and we feel like the person was targeted directly. It wasn't a random outbreak or shooting, on public transportation. So we still feel like the busing is safe.
Lots of incidents recently, according to Moxie, have been happening on the buses.
Sometimes it can be the drivers, or sometimes they may have riders, that can be involved in different incidents. So there needs to be a crackdown. We are targeted for more reasons than one, and for the most part, we're innocent. You have a lot of good drivers out there, and I want to say that, right out. And so they're doing their best. They're trying to keep up the standard of the industry. We have some, however, that, unfortunately, we feel that should not even be in the industry, and that's a fact. Being out on bail means a person is innocent until proven guilty. However, if there are recurring incidents of a person involved in certain things, we think that further check should be looked into that. There needs to be some alignment without violation of somebody's human rights and the right to work. But at the same time, I think that passenger safety and for the general public at large should supersede any risk that may be taken by any single individual.
Expect some tangible changes to the industry, according to Moxie, by the end of this year. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Charles Fisher.
Meantime, Member of Parliament for Nassau Village, Jamal Strawn, extending condolences to the Morley and LaFleur families, both impacted by yesterday's Robinson Road homicide. He identified the murder victim in the House of Assembly today as 32-year-old Robert Morley.
He was actually a bus driver from my constituency of Hope Gardens who actually drove for me in the last general elections. And I wish to publicly denounce the use of illegal firearms and any type of aggressive actions towards each other, especially in retaliation. As we go forward, considering this is Youth Month, I call for all of the youth and all of the young men especially of the nation to put down its arms and continue to let us live in peace and progress forward.
St. Anne's school officials are investigating the alleged attack of a female student by a male student that occurred last week. The incident said to have taken place Friday, involving a female 7th grader and a male 8th grader, with reports that other students had to intervene after the alleged assailant choked the other student. Principal Quinn McCartney says the school is still looking into the incident with a view of taking disciplinary action based on findings. As for possible repercussions for the alleged aggressor, that can vary based on the extent of the infraction.
It depends on the severity. It can be from detention to, if it's severity, it can result in suspension, 1 or 2 or 3 days suspension. If it's a very serious breach, it may result in any student being expelled. So I'm still gathering the facts and getting all of the details, but the senior mistress, senior master, and the senior administration will make recommendations to me, followed by the vice principal, and then we'll make a decision collectively as to what's the best course of action. But we have a student discipline matrix which guides how we deal with students to ensure that it's applied fairly to all students, so it's not isolated.
You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Stay with us.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home health care supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price. And you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you. At the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
Tourism today. Bahamas Tourism today.
The Ministry of Tourism, Investments, and Aviation is continuing its global sales missions by bringing the Bahamas to our partners in New York and New Jersey.
Newark area is one of our significant markets in the Northeast. USA is 80% of our overall tourist market in terms of arrivals to the Bahamas. This is a significant component. We are advancing our reach in this area. We have significant flights already with Delta and American and Frontier and JetBlue. We want to continue to leverage our reach. We want to send a message to this area that we are open for business. This area has been very good to the Bahamas over the many years. We have a Bahamas tourism office here, and we want to ensure that they get the message that we are open for business and we are ready for their return.
Acting Director General Latia Duncombe spoke about the importance of sharing our culture with our partners.
Our culture is who we are as a people, our history, our heritage. These are some of the things that separates us from any other destination in the world. And these are some of the things that we use to promote the 16-island destination. So in addition to the sun, sand, and sea, in addition to the cosmopolitan flair and the uniqueness of all of the islands, our culture, our history, our heritage, our people are the things that unite us. And it's also very, very, very inviting and appealing to the world. And so that's why we've chosen to bring the Bahamas to the world.
For more information on the Global Sales Mission, please visit Bahamas.com. I'm Joshua Robbins, and this is Tourism Today.
For hurricane season, we got impact windows and doors. For protection, just come to our store. Plus we got tiles to pretty up your walls and your floors. We'll help you brighten up for that big bad storm. Porcelain tiles, blank tiles, mosaic tiles, a variety of styles. Before teens get right, they gotta be rough. That's why we got the best deals in the whole Bahamas. Hey, hey.
Super savings on quality products. That's the specials at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets. Rainbow tuna, 5 ounce, 99 cents. Devon corned beef, 12 ounce, $2.59. Yellow grits, $1.49 per pound. Bone-in chicken breasts, $2.69 per pound. Sweet bananas, 99 cents per pound. Donate your change to help feed the Humane Society animals at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
We just got the new fiber internet speed bump. Now my internet so fast I can watch 2 4K movies, play video games, and browse on my computer at the same time.
Yeah, my internet so fast I could download a whole season of shows before my noodles run cooking.
Mine so fast when I go to church online, service actually over early.
Mine so fast when I'm working from home, 5 o'clock, come before 3.
Sound like you got this BTC fiber internet speed bump like me.
But it's so fast, I had to have it.
Current fiber internet bundle customers now have as much as 3 times the speed. Totally free. Link up with BTC.
Youth Minister, the Honorable Mario Boleg, extending a public invitation to participate in Youth Month activities. He announced Grand Bahamians Leslie and Yvonne McDonald and the late Anita Doherty as the recipients of the 2022 National Youth Month Lifetime Achievement Award. Minister Boleg anticipates even more public feedback in nominating the country's best and brightest young people for the National Youth Awards.
And for the first time since the pandemic, we will take to the streets for the National Youth Rally and March on Sunday, October 23rd, in a show of solidarity and unity where we will stand together with young people as we face the future boldly. Mr. Deputy Speaker, as usual, Youth Parliament will also be in session, and for the first time, we are happy to have a special sitting of youth in the Senate added to our calendar.
Well, they may argue that they're not adequately compensated for the work they do, but on this World Teachers Day, they were recognized for all of their hard work and dedication. Today, LaDon Davis stopped by a few schools to see how teachers are enjoying their profession.
Teaching is one of those things where it's exhausting. It is exhausting, it is expensive because we can always find something to do for our children, for our class, but it is definitely one of those things that everybody cannot do.
Queens College primary school educator Adia DeVoe, one of thousands of Bahamian educators basking in the invaluable role they play in molding and shaping the minds and confidence of future leaders. On this World Teachers Day, DeVoe, along with her colleagues, shared their experiences and what they love most about the noble profession.
It is definitely, most definitely, one of the most rewarding professions. When you see the light bulb go on in a child's eyes, like you can literally see it. When they come with their handful of rocks or shells or flowers that they picked, flowers or weeds, that they would have picked along the driveway because they came to show you their gratitude, like there's nothing that can top it.
I've been an educator now for the past 12 years. It has been a tremendous experience. I normally say I can be doing anything in the world. I would still come around and choose to become a teacher. It's a really gratifying job.
I have been blessed to have some wonderful students, and even when they have graduated, they come back to say thank you. And for me, that's the greatest gift of all, when I see my kids thriving and doing well in the community.
Then it was off to LW Young Junior High. New teacher Walden Young and Teacher of the Year Andrea Maycock Watkins say the profession has led to many ups and downs, but they wouldn't trade passing on their skills and knowledge to their students for the world.
It really takes special people to really come in and harness our potential in our kids. So for me, being a musician, teaching is my way of giving back my talent, using my talent to give back and show students that they could do more than just your regular academics, but being skilled, having a talent can take you far as well.
I love my teaching career. It has done so well. I have seen growth, I've seen development, and I love the aspect of being a teacher.
Reflecting on this special day in the House of Assembly Wednesday, Minister of Education, the Honorable Glenys Hannah Martin, applauded teachers for their sacrifices and significant contributions to nation building.
Thousands of teachers in this country are being recognized and across the world for their contribution to the human development of human potential and human brilliance through the classroom and in our schools throughout this nation and globally. And so I wanted to, on behalf of my ministry and for the benefit of those present in this House and the entire nation, to recognize that today is World Teachers Day. And I always say, and this is my motto to people everywhere, love your teacher.
Principals and senior mistresses say they look forward to celebrating the achievements of the backbones in the educational system for years to come. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm LaDawn Davis.
Meantime, teachers and students receiving recognition at St. Anne's School Wednesday morning as part of activities for Spirit Week. The institution marking World Teachers Day, highlighting the efforts of teachers and recognized student leaders. Homeroom captains, student government representatives, and prefects were all pinned during a ceremony in the school's auditorium. New principal Quinn McCartney spoke to the significance of the occasion.
So we want to recognize our teachers, and then we gave out pins to our senior leaders, all of our head boys, head girls, our prefects, our sports captains, our house captains, and a variety of positions. We had student council elections for the first time held on the 30th of September, and so they were presented with their pins as well. And so we wanted to showcase our student leadership. It's all about the students, and so we want to show them that they're important, just as important as the teachers. In fact, they're more important, you know, they're the reason why we're here. And so we wanted to celebrate them in this big way this morning. Junior prefects for the first time in a long time, grade 9 students who were selected as prefects. And then, of course, we did the primary school department, their prefects as well.
Well, she's not yet out of primary school, but one Family Island student is proving she's not too young to care, not too young to give, or even make a difference in the long-held fight against a deadly disease that's claimed the lives of far too many Bahamian women. Carla Palmer tells us more.
She's small in stature and age, at only 10 years old, comparable to the mission she's embarked on, to save lives through breast cancer awareness and education.
I want them to know the basic health of how to try to not catch this disease of breast cancer, which is number 1, awareness, number 2 is early detection, and number 3, eating healthy. Number 4, but not last but not least, is support.
From a native island of Eleuthera, she traveled here to New Providence on invitation to sit with lawmakers in the House of Assembly, sharing in the platform to make public her message of an incurable disease that has left a void in her heart from her own personal loss and continues to kill thousands of people each year. Her great-grandmother, Pearl, Ma Pearl Sweeting, died from the disease back in 2015.
Very kind person, and she deserved the world, in my opinion. I wanted to help against the fight and try to join it to eradicate breast cancer. Breast cancer is very deadly, and you must make sure that you support everyone who has it, try to help people that get through it.
In addition to her message of help and hope, she came bearing gifts of a patch she designed herself in honor of her great-grandmother, a token she freely distributed to parliamentarians at no cost, each of whom wore unreservedly. Her uncle, Member of Parliament for Central and South Eleuthera, the Honourable Clay Sweeting, supporting her efforts from the House floor.
It's a lot of families that's been negatively affected by this. So I want to congratulate my niece. For someone her age to take the initiative to do and to speak to this, I think is powerful. And, maybe I think that leadership might let us sit in this place one day as the first female representative from North Eleuthera.
Breast cancer is reportedly the most common form of cancer, with some 42,000 women and 500 men in the United States dying from the disease annually. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Carla Palmer.
Awesome story there, Carla. As we head to the break, we'd like to thank all our viewers watching us live on our social media platforms. And just in case you missed the news, be sure to head there to catch up. Stay with us. There's more after the break.
Having a policy with Bahama Health is more than just health insurance. It's about feeling good knowing that your health and wellness is covered. It's about the confidence you feel knowing that your card is accepted by over 50 pharmacies and 400 local doctors. It's about peace of mind, knowing that when you travel, you have comprehensive coverage and our overseas partner is just a phone call away. It's about the security you feel, knowing that you're an important part of the family.
Join the family.
Shell Unleaded improves your fuel economy, giving increased miles per gallon, allowing you to do more of what you really want. Special additives used in Shell Unleaded improve your engine's efficiency. So go further with Shell Unleaded. Venture out to beaches, Junkanoo, and festivals and bring home memories that will last a lifetime. Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
Shopping online isn't new to the market, but gaining access to affordable healthcare products at the click of a button is the greatest customer experience. Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies Limited gives access to a complete customer journey, from shopping in our retail store on 9th Terrace, Centerville, to shopping online at your convenience from work or from the comfort of your home. Offering delivery and pickup options. Remember, if it's healthcare, it's here. Shop online today.
When you wanna save money on your tile supplies, who you gonna call? The Tile King. When you tile your house and you wanna look good, who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Visit the new Tile King showroom, which is internationally recognized as the finest tile showroom in the Caribbean, located in the Builders Mall on Wolf Road.
The Tile King. Who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Tiles on everything.
The Family Island's not to be left out of BPL's solar upgrades. In fact, the Minister of Public Works, the Honourable Alfred Sayers, says funding has already been secured for the initiative.
The government has secured funding from the Inter-American Development Bank for the establishment of solar grids in the Southern Islands, Acklins, Crooked Island, Mayaguana, Long Key, Abaco, and also Grand Bahama. And I would also wish to add that new technology in terms of battery capacity is being implemented. Also, a smart meter and prepaid infrastructure will be developed so that the consumers have more control over what portion or amount of energy is consumed.
Well, now as good a time as any for a check on Family Island weather, and for that we turn to Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, Makishla. Outside of our studios, we have just a few clouds floating around. Temperature at 85 degrees. Relative humidity, that stands at 67%. Northerly winds at 13 miles per hour. The barometric pressure, that's 1,014.0 millibars. It's 29.97 inches, and the pressure is rising. Temperatures around the Family Islands this evening, they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. 81 degrees in Freeport, Grand Bahama, Green Turtle Key in Marshall, Babacar, 84 degrees, the Berry Islands, 79, 83 degrees in Allenstown, Bimini, 81 in Harbor Island, Rock Sound, Eleuthera, 86 degrees, Black Point, Exuma, and Camp Space at Andros at 82. Fresh Creek, Central Andros, 83 degrees, 85s in Otterstown, Cat Island, San Salvador, and Rum Key, Georgetown, Exuma, 86 degrees, 87s in Rygut Island, Clarence, Long Island, and Crooked Island, Betsy Bay, Megawanda, 85, Acklands, 85, Matthewtown, Unaga with some cloud cover there, have a temperature of 82 degrees, and the Turks and Caicos Islands at 84 degrees. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FYP, the Tile King, and the Paint Setter. And for all areas tonight, northeasterly winds, they're going to be around 10 to 15 knots. The wave fights 2 to 4 feet. Low tide, that takes place at 11:26 tonight. Now, tomorrow, in the northwestern parts of our country, the wind's going to blow out of the northeast, increasing in speeds 12 to 18 knots. Those wave fights are going to be building 3 to 6 feet over the ocean with a moderate chop, so caution flags go in place. Low tide takes place at 11:37 in the morning with a high tide at 5:54 in the afternoon. Now, for the central and southeastern islands tomorrow, northeasterly winds not as strong, 10 to 15 knots. The wave heights 2 to 4 feet over the ocean. And as we take you into Friday, for all areas, the winds are going to shift more towards the northeast to east, maintaining that 12 to 18 knot speeds, wave heights at 3 to 6 feet. High tide takes place at 6:22 in the morning with a low tide at 12:35 in the afternoon. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
I want to get off. Stop the world and let me off. Tired of going round and round. I've played the game of love and loss. You stop the world and let me off. Stop the world and let me off. I'm tired of going round and round.
And that's going to do it for your international temperatures, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned. The extended weather forecast is still ahead.
My dreams crumble, don't you see?
AID has everything you need and more to complement your home's decor. Luxurious bamboo bath towels, face towels from $1.25 and bath towels from $5.45. Shower curtains from $2.54 and organizers in stylish finishes. Bath mat sets from $7.27 in a multitude of styles and colors. Bed sheet sets from $9.95 and 7-piece comforter sets from $49.95. Doormats from $1.93 with matching runners and hundreds of area carpets. Sofa covers from $19.95, plain and crushed sheer curtains from $5.25 and thousands of panels to choose from. Blinds from $7.02 and curtain rods from $2.89. Ceramic and porcelain dishes, tablecloths, napkins, placemats, utensils, and more. A wide selection of drinking glasses, including elegant stemware, candle holders, vases, and crystal. Full-size mirrors, decorative pictures, and picture frames. AID, Wolf Road and the Mall at Marathon open late and on Sundays to serve your decorating needs. AID, all you really need and more.
Welcome to the Cable Bahamas Business Solutions Cybersecurity Tip of the Day for Default Credentials.
Default passwords exist with almost every operating system and application. Point number 1, check the default passwords on all hardware and software and change passwords immediately. Test the credentials to see if they are still valid. When changing passwords, make sure that the new password is strong, unique, and stored securely. Remember, stay safe, stay informed, and stay protected.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
Welcome to your Wednesday Sports, everyone. I'm Amajal Knowles, topping sports news. Tiger Woods has announced the field for the 2023 Hero World Challenge, set to return to Albany November 28th through December 4th. 2023 Hero World Challenge field features defending champion Victor Hovland, along with 7 major winners who have a total of 11 major championships. There are 16 PGA Tour winners committed to compete at Albany, who have won a total of 87 events. The field features 5 players making their tournament debuts. That will be Will Zalatoris, Cameron Young, Sungjae Im, Max Homa, and Tom Kim. Only Jon Rahm and Hovland have won the event in their tournament debut. 3 tournament exemptions will be announced at a later date. Among the other participants is world number 1 Scottie Scheffler, world number 5 Xander Schauffele, and world number 6 Jon Rahm. And heading into an election year, being president of the North American, Central American, and Caribbean Athletic Association, or NACAC, Mike Sands, speaking with media at a recent press conference, saying he's pleased with the work that he and his team have done so far during his tenure. And when the time comes, the body's membership will judge him and his executive team on their 4 years in office.
So we touch them almost on a weekly basis. And so it's not like we have to go scamping around later on. And so that's why I said I'm not concerned about the election, or do I have to start a full-fledged campaign? Because we've been, if you want to use the word campaigning, we have been touching them every day for the purpose of which we've been elected. And so I'm satisfied that that forms part of our performance, and it will speak to our platform that we have to develop come next.
To the water, while the 2020 Bahamas Opti Championships wrapped up this weekend, the action not on hold for our local sailors as the 2022 Optimus South American Championships get underway on Saturday, October 8th in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, and 4 Bahamians will be traveling there this week to compete. Team Bahamas comprises of 14-year-old Eliza Denning, 15-year-old Zane Monroe, and 12-year-old Patrick Tomlinson, while trained with the Lightfoot Key Sailing Club, as well as 14-year-old Norman Cartwright, who sails with the Bahamas National Sailing School. Now, of course, Tomlinson won the national title this weekend, finishing first among the local sailors. These talented young sailors are all ranked high in the junior national sailing rankings and have all recently taken part in other international sailing events, including the Optimus World Championships in Turkey and the Optimus European Championships in Denmark. The Ubimingo softball team in playoff action over the weekend against the RAB Operators. The Operators took the early lead, going up 4-zip in the first inning. The Mingos never got a chance to get started, but the rain came down and flooded the field. The Operators were up 6-zip heading into the bottom of the third at that point.
Something that's plagued us for a while. I think we had the pitching for a better part of the game. Defense kind of gave in tonight, as we can tell by the other team scoring 15 runs. We weren't consistent as we needed to be with respect to scoring runs. We came on a bit too late, but we weren't able to sustain it. As a result, 1 or 2 innings, the other team, they scored a few runs almost every inning. So like I said, defense kind of got the best of us tonight. But like I said, we have a few things to work on. We have a few games in November versus some of these teams here as we prepare to travel in January of next year.
We'll move out of the way Shawnee Miller-Weibo and Stephen Gardner. We have some new speedsters taking over, and no, they're not running to success, but rather crawling. All a part of the Baby Olympics taking place this weekend at the Town Center Mall, put on in large by the Bahamas National Breastfeeding Association.
We are having our Baby Olympics. This is actually to encourage women to continue to breastfeed from birth to 6 months. It's actually an incentive for the women and their children to continue to breastfeed. We want to give back, and we want to encourage others to continue to breastfeed their children. So it's just something fun, it's something interesting, it's something wonderful for the little ones.
And that's been Look at Your Sports on this Wednesday. A check on weather when we return.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
Find your favorites on special this week at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets. Cardinal Evaporated Milk, 14 ounce, $1.19. Best Value Whole Kernel Corn, 15 ounce, $1.09. Carter Bath Tissue, 4-pack, $2.49. Chicken Leg Quarters, 10-pound bag, $1.19 per pound. Bar S Classic or Chicken Franks, 12 ounce, 2 for $3. Donate your change to help feed the Humane Society animals at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
Welcome to the Cable Bahamas Business Solutions Cybersecurity Tip of the Day for data backups. Regularly back up your business's data. Set your backups to happen automatically and store them somewhere secure. When considering data backups, consider the rule of 3-2-1. Have 3 local backups, 2 digital backups, and 1 offsite backup. Remember, stay safe, stay informed, and stay protected.
Nobody can talk about your business or a special event like you can. Do you want a way to bring your message to a large audience? You need a live ZNS radio interview. 5 minutes of airtime to let listeners know directly from you all about your company, product, or upcoming event. And now, for a limited time only, get 5 interviews for 25% off or 10 interviews for 35% off. Call the ZNS sales office today, 502-3800, and get on the radio.
Hey guys, it's that time of year again, the Atlantic hurricane season. Are you ready? Here's another ZNS hurricane readiness tip to help you prepare. You need to look at the structure of your house as a whole when you prepare for a storm. Antonio Miller explains what to look for and why.
A home is pretty much secured, you know. When you put cylinder blocks around and you put mud on the outside, you put a fascia on the outside, it's pretty much sealed. But like anything else, a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. And if you have a crack in that chain, that's where a lot of the leakage is going to be happening.
If you do have cracks, should you start repairing them when a hurricane is on the way?
If cracks on the side of your building should be repaired when a hurricane is coming, it should be repaired before that. Cracks are a sign of sometimes structural damage. It could also be a sign that the steel was placed too close to the outside of the building. And if it starts to swell, the steel starts to swell, it gets more air element, it's going to open up, it's going to rust. So the general answer is yes, but try prepare before that, because the last thing you want to do is looking for a mason to come and chop into your wall and try to prepare the cracks. And that's another way water can get into your building.
This has been another ZNS hurricane readiness tip to prepare you for the storm.
Christmas is right around the corner. It's time to plan your holiday advertising. And right now, there's a special on ZNS Radio Network remote broadcasts you don't want to miss. Just book your 2-hour ZNS Radio remote for the holidays between October 1st and November 15th and get 30% off the price. Plus, you'll get free promos so everyone will be reminded about your broadcast. Call ZNS Sales Department today at 502-3800 and ask for the Holiday Radio Remote Special, and your holidays will be bright.
Time now for weather.
In our final look at weather, just before we get into it, we'd like to say hello to some students from BTVI who's in our studios this evening, and we want to welcome you here. Satellite pictures right now showing a little ribbon of clouds just across the extreme southeastern parts of the country in the Turks and Caicos Islands. That's associated with an old frontal boundary which continues to drift towards the south and east, and we expect that to dissipate by tomorrow. Meanwhile, high pressure will begin to build across the Bahamas, so you will see an increase in winds over the next couple of days with some breezy conditions developing. Our forecast for tonight, partly cloudy with a couple of showers, mainly late during the early morning hours, 76 degrees for your low temperature, and tomorrow it's going to be a mixed bag of clouds and sunshine with 1 or 2 isolated showers still remaining in the mix, and that will be primarily in the afternoon again. High temperature tomorrow, 85 degrees, and your extended weather forecast, 1 or 2 showers into Thursday. Things dry out a bit on Friday. Get a bit more showers working their way back into our forecast on Saturday. But as we head into the early part of next week, we'll see an increase in sunshine in our forecast. Temperature-wise, we're starting to keep you now into the mid to upper 80s during the daytime. Those nighttime temperatures, they should continue to hold in the upper 70s. Makisha.
Well, thanks, Basil. That does it for the Bahamas tonight. Thank you for continuing to make ZNS your first choice for news and information. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. From all of us here at ZNS, thank you for watching and good night.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.